What is your name and where are you from?
My name is Joshua, and I reside in Baltimore, Maryland.
All right. How did you originally hear about my website?
I was a stay-home dad at one point, and I was feeding my son, and I happened to be going on, I happened to be looking on Facebook or YouTube. I mean, I think Facebook, YouTube, and I just stumbled across your website and just happened to be there. And I was listening to it, and I saw that you like the first lessons, and I'm like, well, wow, check this out. So, and that's how I started out.
Awesome. What do you like most about learning from my method?
The boards, the the segment of breakup of the lessons
Mhm.
for each part. It helps me and disciplines me because I know some people like to jump. It takes patience
Yeah.
and diligence, but I like how you broke it up in segments and pieces. Like here's lesson one.
Yeah.
Usually your lesson one is always free, and that's great, But if you're not a member, and it's actually I like how you say, okay, if you want to learn more, become a
Yeah.
member. I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
So that's what inspired me to
Good.
do that because I
So
was like,
don't
oh,
get
I
rid
can
of
do
that. All
this.
right.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then just kind of, so usually the first piece is the first is usually pretty easy. I wouldn't say easy, but you got to want to master that. And then
Yeah.
I memorize the first, and it inspires me to go to the second, and encourages
Good.
me to go to the third. And then I go back to the first and go to the second and third, and then continue. It's like a marathon. It's a musical marathon. And I
Yes.
like that. I like the challenge.
That's great, Josh. I taught for 20 years real
Hmm.
people, 50 students a
Yeah.
week. And I learned
Wow.
a little something about people. And one of the things people need is they don't need to see the whole thing. They need to see that part they need to work on because
Right.
it's overwhelming if you don't and people like me and like you, we want to, all right, let's get the whole thing. So if there's
Right.
nobody going, no, let's just do this page. Let's just do these few measures.
Right.
Then that's a practice scheme that works. If
Right.
someone tries to go ahead and the whole thing, and then they feel terrible how they did, and they quit. So
Right.
that's the reason for breaking it up. But thank you for noticing that. What
Absolutely.
makes my method different from other online piano lessons?
I haven't tried any other online lesson pianos. I'll be honest with you. I know there are plenty of apps out there where they just have a piano and they drop the
Uh-huh.
notes. You know,
What about just like YouTube lessons in general? Just other teachers that are on the net.
I
Is there?
I had not. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't because
So you're one and done. Okay.
if I like something, John, I stick
Yeah.
to it. I
Uh-huh.
don't, I just like I don't see the reason to say, everybody, everybody likes, okay, let's hear a different opinion or a different approach.
Okay.
So again, I just didn't see that because of what you're able to teach and what you're able to teach and and basically, like I said, the final product is just like wow. So whatever you're doing, your methodology, it's working, it's successful. So for somebody like me who just like, why would I go to another teacher? Why would I want to look somewhere else when I'm highly satisfied for what you're able to provide? I'm sure I'm
Awesome.
not the
That's
only one. I'm sure I'm not the only one who says
all right. Wonderful. This makes me feel good doing these. Thank you,
that.
Josh. On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with my lessons?
Well, I'm going to give you a 10. Just, I mean,
Okay.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that, just for mincing words or anything like that. I'm
Mhm.
being honest with you. I would give you a straight 10 because I can go anytime if I want to sit down and play the piano. I'll say, "All right, let me look at a song, look at your amazing library, and then just pick out a song. And if this is the song I want to do, I'll just go from there. And it's like, okay, I can do this, even if it's expert,
Yeah.
level. Okay. I wouldn't consider myself expert. I consider myself maybe advanced. I would say advanced, but I'm willing to push myself because if I like that song so much,
Yeah.
I think you're the best. You're the best source to learn
Thank you.
from.
I like
Um,
that. I like you say I'd never consider myself an expert because that leaves room for improvement. That's why if I'm going to
Absolutely.
grade myself, I'm probably going to do a 9 point something or whatever. So because I
Right.
always had that room so I can get better, but I do appreciate
Right.
the 10.
Absolutely.
Would you recommend me to a family member or a friend? And if so, why?
I have recommended you to my boss. He just bought a baby grand piano.
Okay.
Okay, I did mention when he said he needs something. He has a case of OCD, and during after tax season, stuff like that. We like to play more. So he's a beginner. I did mention your website immediately.
Uh-huh.
He's using an app for now, but but that's all, that's the only person who I've talked to in regards to playing music or like serious about starting to play music. Um, my son's classically trained, but before he was classically trained, I did have him start out with your lessons, you
Okay.
know. So yeah, but
Well, I'm
if
glad
there
he's
are
learned to
people
read
out there,
music.
oh, he could,
Great
he,
skill.
like I said, the way he plays is like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. And more
so,
power to him. I seem to
right,
exist for those
exactly,
people who just need that different way. So,
right.
love that. Do you have any questions for me? What can I do for you?
Um, No, no, I don't think I have any questions. No, I enjoy, I look forward to seeing your updates. And like I said, um, I just want to keep them pressing away, keep what you're doing, what you're doing. I mean, honestly, there's some heaviness. I wish I had that skill set where I can just play the piano and, but, like that and just, and make that as a living. But some people have it, and you certainly had that natural gift. And like I said, yeah, I can see the success behind that. And that's fantastic,
Well, thank
and
you.
and the most important thing is you enjoy it. I can see
I do
yeah,
so
I mean,
much.
oh
I
my
do.
gosh, absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
do. And Josh, if I were to leave you with something, it would be that what I was talked about before. Try to get out somewhere and play. Just you can get some cheap equipment because the stuff sounds so good today. The technology is so good.
Right.
Your little speaker and sing and in a small venue, I think you would absolutely love it, and you wouldn't be okay with not doing it again. I think you would just want to do it more and more. It's so fulfilling, and you can make some pretty good tips. Some of the
Really?
giggers that I know that are small, one or two guys, they'll make $200 or $300 a night. Sometimes they make 1,000 if people are really drunk. But
Right.
you know,
So the only hard part I'm thinking is like, what, so I have to so basically I have to schlep a piano around, right?
yeah, you can get
Yeah.
some light ones though. Some
Yeah.
of them are pretty light these days, but it's just
Yeah. Oh,
it's fun.
yeah.
I'd recommend that. So,
Thank you.
but
Thank you.
send me those videos
I
if you have them.
will.
I
I
would
will.
love to hear them
Sure.
and see them. And if you don't want me to ever post them, I won't. But man, I'll tell you, the other members love to see that. The ones who are just beginning, they love to see, oh, that guy's doing it. Look at him, and encourages them. But I won't if you don't want me to.
Absolutely. No, I
What?
don't mind. I don't, if they're good
Okay.
enough for you. If not, I won't
Oh
take it
yeah,
personal if you don't. So it doesn't matter. You may not say,
I'm
well, I
sure
won't
they
post.
are. I'm sure they are. So I'm going to send you an email right after this. One of the other things that's going to help me is these Google reviews. And all it is a link, and you just type some of the stuff you've been telling me
Sure.
right here. It'll really help me in the SEO stuff, the search engine
All right.
optimization category. And
Great.
yeah, I'll just send that to you, and you can contact me anytime. You ever need a little something, I'll do a Zoom call and help you just like this. Free. It's just something I'm trying to do with members, and I've had a blast doing it. Should have been doing it the whole time. But I've
Absolutely.
enjoyed talking with you, Josh.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you too.
All right, we'll see you later.
I see ya.
Bye.
How you doing?
Good. Evan, turn me up, would you? Or turn the computer up.
What's that? Can you hear me?
I'm talking to my son. He's my
Oh,
tech
oh,
guy. Now I
oh,
can hear
okay.
you better. Hey,
You
Josh,
got one.
you go by Joshua or Josh? Do you care?
Either or is fine.
Well, it's good to see you, Josh. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah, I just getting some testimonials for the website. I'm doing some kind of business coaching, and they recommend these, and I got a lot of happy members. I'm finding out, so I'm just kind of going through and
Oh,
getting you
wow.
guys' story and everything, and I've been loving it. I really have.
Well,
Um,
awesome. I'm honored.
Great. So for the video, it works best if you can get it in. Are you in landscape? You got to
Yeah.
turn your phone.
You want?
Okay, that's the
How's that?
best. Oh no, that's portrait. Go back to the landscape. That's better.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, you already had it. And maybe if you can put it somewhere where you don't have to hold it, is that possible? Where it can be,
Let me
if you have
see.
to
Hold
hold it,
on.
that's fine. But if you can get
Give me
it
one.
somewhere
Hey,
where
how's
you
this
don't
sound?
have
Hang
to,
on.
just for your sake, and it helps the
Right.
video editors if it's not
How's
moving.
that? Let's see.
That's perfect. That's wonderful. Yeah. And that way you're not having to worry about keeping it straight, and we can edit it better that way.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you for doing this. I want to just get your story first. At the end, I'm going to ask you a few questions that I'm supposed to
Sure.
ask for the business side of things. And you might feel like you're repeating yourself a little bit, but if you wouldn't mind, just go ahead
It's
and
okay.
answer them
Absolutely.
as you can. So how long have you been with me, Josh?
I've been with you, believe it or not, since 2011.
I can believe it. Wow. So how long is that with it?
It's like
Oh,
almost 13 years.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible. Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
guy the other day that beat you by a little bit. He's been 15 years. And then
Wow.
I had a guy who, 6 months, and he's a young guy, which is encouraging because, I want to have all
Yeah.
ages come into it. It's great. So, what is like your story growing up? Did you take traditional piano lessons? Did you have to read notes? Did you play guitar, drums? What kind of music were you listening to? What was your, culture in music growing up?
My first instrument, I did take a couple piano lessons. Um, and it didn't go so well because at the time I didn't have a piano,
Yeah.
and pretty much the teacher told me that I didn't have a knack for it.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh, that's
I know.
terrible.
Yeah, I know. And ironically, she ironic. Here's ready when you want to hear the crazy story. I can tell you
Okay.
this is a side story, right? She happened. I mean, I actually practiced on the piano that she had as a child, and she's from Long Island, New York, and her friend and her brother was good friends with Billy Joel, and that was the
Oh,
piano
wow.
he used to play around with.
You got a
So,
connection to Billy Joel.
yeah,
Wow.
I'm a big Billy
Now
Joel
I
fan,
have a connection to Billy Joel.
yeah, and that's what actually led me to that's when I saw that, hey, I can do this, and that's where I learned a lot of Billy Joel's music is through you, yeah,
Let
and
me
she
ask you
saw,
that real quick. On your
yeah.
beginner lessons, did you
Hmm.
were they note reading lessons?
They
Typical note
were,
reading?
yeah,
Okay.
here we go up a road to a birthday
Yeah,
party,
right, right.
and I
This is
couldn't,
middle C. Yeah.
right,
So
and
what
yeah,
what in the world prompted your teacher to say this wasn't for
she,
you?
yeah, she has social issues.
Okay.
I don't know what to say. She really did. She had some social issues,
Okay.
but that's okay. I didn't take it personally because it is what it is. But then I went to play, and then I started playing guitar,
Okay.
and I picked up the guitar. And when I was younger, I was able to pick it up, but I just didn't have the right teachers. I mean, I
Yeah.
knew how to play the chords. I was diligent. That was one thing I was able to do. I could read the chords, I could play it, but it was so limited. And then finally, when I was 17 years old, we had a dinky keyboard, and I picked up a book and read it and just started playing it. And then just
Uh-huh.
over the years, I just became self-taught. I can't read music.
Okay. All right.
Uh,
Like traditional
not
music. Yeah. But you
no.
know what chords you're on, I guess.
And I
Yeah,
can
that's more
hear it.
important to me.
Yeah, yeah,
But what
exactly,
you're doing.
exactly. My older son is he actually is classically trained. He can read, and it's like I envy you. I can't do it,
Huh.
and so it would take me longer. It's just I can't, but I can
Yeah.
hear it, and I can and I
Yes.
can feel it.
I want to offer
So
a little support for you there, Josh,
yeah,
because I mean I'm not against reading music. Some people think I'm
right,
against reading. I'm not. I'm a
right,
music reader.
right,
It's a great
right,
skill. Go for it if you want to. I'm not.
right.
I'm not against
Exactly,
it. But what happens is you probably got a really good ear, and so what happens when you start to play? That's what you use your strength.
exactly.
And if your strength is your ear, you're going to just hear it and play it, and you don't need the notes. In fact, it kind of
Right,
hurts you. The ear kind of hurts your music reading because it's so easy to just do it by ear. And then your
exactly,
playing level starts to get separated from your reading level and more and more
exactly.
and more. And then it gets frustrating. So it's not necessarily that you can't read music, it's that your ear was probably so good that that's what you used.
Right,
And that I find that a lot. The most talented musicians, a lot of times, are the ones who have the most trouble reading music. I was a terrible music reader. I'm telling you,
right,
terrible.
right.
I'm in college. I'm playing Liszt and Rachmaninoff, and I've
Right.
got to go one measure at a time and figure out each note. And then these guys
Exactly.
in the next door to me, who've been in conservatory since they were 2 years old, or just sit down and do that. And I think, what's wrong with me? I finally learned what it was, and it was able to fix it somewhat later in life. But that's what it is. I
Right.
think it's your ear is so good. So
Exactly.
you went to guitar, and guitar lends itself to self teaching anyway. And so probably that helped you when you went back to piano. So
Right.
when you're learning songs, did you just listen to something and pick it out? How did you learn when you wanted
I
to learn a
would
song?
I would basically I would basically see what the beginning few notes were, and then I would continue to play it, and then I would compose my own stuff, and then
Oh
I was
wow.
able to expand. And then when I started, and then I learned a lot from you because all the music that I learned from you, I memorized.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
if you say here's my sheets.
Yeah.
I couldn't play it. I'll be honest with you. I
That's
memorized
okay.
it. I memorized it
Yeah.
all. Then the thing is, if I forget it, I have to go back and it's like, okay, I got it. you know,
Yeah.
but I
Right.
can't. Yeah,
So what was it about? So that the music reading wasn't working for you, and that's
no,
my take on it. That's probably why that happened.
right.
So what about my method worked for you when you saw those letters on the whiteboard? Did that immediately click? Was there a learning curve?
Im,
How was your experience there?
immediately, the teaching and just it was the boards that helped me. I know musical chords,
Uh huh.
so I knew how to play a lot of them, and I was able to hear it, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, this was like, to me, it was like, okay, this was it was a I was able to play like music I could never play before. I, believe it or not, sounds crazy. I just had to stop at a certain point. It's just maybe forgot, but I was playing ragtime, Billy Joel's ragtime. I mean,
Okay.
I was going at it like you wouldn't believe, and like an angry young man. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's like I stopped, I forgot it, but I was able to do it all, and
Yeah.
because I was so diligent, and I have OCD. I'm an accountant,
Okay.
okay, and just it's just our nature, and I
Right.
won't stop until I master it,
We
and
got
I
some of
won't
that
go.
here in my house.
Yeah, I won't go to the next level until I'm
Yeah.
like perfect. I mean, it took me maybe 3 hours to get Rosalinda Eyes down, the intro. Now
Hmm.
it's nothing. I can do it, and I can do it all. So
Awesome.
it was the patience, and the patience, the pace, and
Yes.
just kind of, and they basically kind of giving that, that board support that
Yeah.
really, really, really helps. Yeah,
Right. So I like, when you look at my tablature, if you want to call it that,
yeah,
it's still reading music. It's just a
yeah,
different system.
exactly.
So, but you're just kind of bypassing that whole thing where you have to learn where the dots are in accordance to which takes no musical talent whatsoever. That all is a
Mhm.
mental
Right,
memorizing exercise.
exactly.
So we kind of bypass that and we learn, by ear. There's some things I love the whiteboard thing that I'm doing. One reason because you can't teach some of the things that Billy Joel and Elton John are
Right,
doing with notes
right.
alone. You've got to
No,
have demonstration. You've got to have, when I put this, I call it the squiggly line, and then I'm showing you, you got to feel this rhythm because Elton John's not memorizing a sheet of music. I mean, he can read music, but he hasn't memorized something that he's going from.
right,
When
exactly.
he's playing, he's vamping. You'll never learn that skill with sheet music. You got to have
Right,
demonstration. You got to have somebody showing you. So
right.
that's part of why I love the method
Yeah.
too. So the reading tablature helped. Do you have my sheets in front of you, or are you more of a memorizer? You get one measure at a
I
time.
I get your sheets. I usually use the website, and then sometimes, like for example, yeah. I mean, I use the website, and when I did the high request for All About Soul,
Yeah.
I was able
Oh,
to
good
read
one.
it. I was able to read it, so I had that in front of me, and I was able to figure it out. And what I do is also what it helps me is I play the music, is actual recording, and I
Good.
play along with the recording
Good.
as if I'm
Good.
playing with a band, to keep the time.
Yes.
So
Well, I'm glad
yeah,
someone's doing that.
yeah.
No one's ever. I say that all the time, but I'm glad you're doing that, and it's
Oh,
fun, isn't
absolutely.
it?
It is. Yeah. I mean, I have a couple of recordings. If you want me to, offline, I could send you a couple of like some
Yes.
like
Send them to me.
Rosalinda Highs. But I'm playing the piano. I'm actually playing, and I had the background and the music as if, and it's just let you know. I mean, that was, I learned from you how to
Yeah.
play it. I mean, yeah. I have a couple of them. Yeah. I mean, yeah, a couple of songs I recorded, and I can send it to you. But it was from all your teachings. It was all from your lessons.
I
Hmm.
would love you to send me that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It sounds like you're an advanced player. If you can play all this Billy Joel stuff, you're advanced for sure. If you can play the rag, I can't remember that song, that's ragtime, but is it Root Beer
Oh,
Rag?
that's expert.
Is that what?
That's
Yeah, yeah.
expert. Yeah,
Have you?
that's
Yeah,
expert.
you're all the
Yeah,
way. And you can't read music, but that doesn't hold you back,
right,
right?
right,
So I hate when people look down upon others. Oh, you can't read music,
right,
because that's
right.
not.
Exactly.
It's just a different thing,
All
It's a
right.
different way to do it.
Exactly.
So I love hearing these stories, and you guys are usually very highly intelligent, think outside, entrepreneurial types, kind of your problem solvers, like OCD, like you said. I'm finding
Yeah, yeah,
some similarities in all the members that are having great success, and
yeah.
I'm glad I could be a part of it there. So what kind of? I already know Billy Joel. What
Mm.
are all the things you listen to
I like
besides
I
Billy
like
Joel?
Elton John. I like, and again, I have stopped in the middle. It's just not because I gave up. It's just having, things happen. Life happens.
Yeah,
I like Barry Manilow. I even want to get into a little more jazz. I mentioned Elton John. I do like some of the Beatles. Some Beatles. I learned some of your
sure.
Beatles. And I'm trying to. There's others. It's just so you have so many, but it's just like I can't. One thing I've learned is not take. Pick so many songs to learn at once. I can't do it. I got to focus. And then what happens is when I stop, I forget the songs that I've already learned,
Yeah.
and I like to go back and learn them and then
Excellent.
continue. But that, that hasn't really happened. I mean, there's times where, okay, I've learned all five. I remember all the five songs I learned happen to
Yeah.
be all Billy Joel, and then I'm
Yeah.
ready to move on, and then I lack.
Yeah,
You know,
but they're in there, Josh. I mean,
yeah,
they're not.
yeah,
It's never going to be as hard to learn them when you first did. They're in there
exactly,
somewhere. And
exactly.
I run in that too because I do. I'm going to ask you about gigging here in a minute. If you ever gig or if you
Yeah,
ever play for other people or do anything
right,
like that, but you have to play those songs every day, even if you just run through them once. And it's
right.
amazing how that'll stick in your memory. If you already know it, just hitting it once every day or once every 2 or 3 days
Yeah,
will keep it right
yeah,
there where you can. You're right there where you can perfect it again if you needed to.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
having a bunch of songs ready to go is a kind of a different skill than
yeah,
learning one song. So you're
exactly.
right, and that's the key is to keep playing those. Now I wanted to ask you about gigging. Do you ever play for anybody or do any
No,
sort of that thing?
no, not really. I mean, I stopped doing it. I was on a, I was sorry about that. I was using an app, more of a musical app called Smule. I'm sure you heard of it. So I'm kind of getting away from it. Um, but I would play the piano and the music. Again, I play the piano piece and it had all the other musical instruments, and I would
Yeah,
sing towards it. So I would do that, and people would see that. They would join me. And it's like duets.
yeah.
And so that's the only type of like gigging.
I have to
Anything
say, I feel. Do you sing too or not?
I do.
Good.
At
I
least,
feel like you would really enjoy doing a small venue kind of thing in a coffee shop or something, just using the
yeah,
piano singing. I
yeah,
would encourage you to do that because you have like you can sing, you can play these things. You talk about playing with the album and all that. That's all signs to me that you have this inner desire to play with or to be
yeah,
in front of people. And
right.
you can start really small. And if you never do it, that's okay. But man, you could find a little coffee shop somewhere and say, "Hey, can I come in and play for half an hour or whatever?" And a little tip jar if you want that. But you can. I just feel like you would love that and you
No,
would really enjoy it.
I
And my
would. Yeah,
recommendation, if you were going to do that, pick 5 songs that are super easy, not complex, not trying, not something that you'd play if you were trying to show people what you could do. But Billy Joel, I got a way about her.
I got that.
She's got a way about things like that and people would
Yeah,
just eat that up. Elton
yeah,
John stuff, Tiny Dancer or something.
yeah.
I feel like you would really love it.
Oh wow.
Get your sheets on your iPad, and then they have these little Bluetooth things you can switch the sheets. But
Yeah.
I would encourage. I know you're probably pretty busy with job and work and everything, but
I
it,
need
it
I
is
need
a
a life. I don't
blast.
have a life, so I don't have a life much. So I guess I'm a divorcee. So it's
Yeah.
kind of I keep that's an idea. I never thought
Yes,
about that.
I was too,
Yeah.
Josh, and I got it right the second time. So
Well,
there's hope.
yeah. Well, I'm failing the second time because I'm on the outs with her. That's why I was in Romania. So
Yeah. We swing and miss, and then we keep
there we go.
staying
I
there.
know
And
exactly, exactly.
it might be a chance to meet some more ladies playing the piano. I've always used that. I mean, it's my wife's kind of rolls her eyes at that, but I'm
Yeah,
telling you, man,
it
that's
does
a way to
work.
meet girls.
Yeah, well, that's how I kind of swept the second one off. She loves it. Yeah, I mean that's why all about soul. She loves it. All the songs I play, she loves it. Yeah, so yeah.
So I heard you, Billy Joel and Elton John. Why those
hmm
two? I know why
Uh,
for me, but why for
right.
you?
I always connected to Billy Joel's style. I always loved the way he not just playing the piano and just his natural voice. He says, and he'll admit that he hates his voice. He
He
hates
hates
it.
his voice.
He hates his voice. I've heard him in interviews, but the way he sings it from the heart,
Okay.
right? And he can't sing as he used to because I mean, guy's older, but but I can hit his range.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm almost 50 years old. I could still hit the range as if he was in 30s. I mean, it's
Excellent.
just weird. I can do that. But I always liked. It always that was the first like real musical influence I ever had when I was like a teenager. Was listening to his
Yeah.
greatest hits 1 and 2 in '85. So it
Yes.
just always stuck with me, and I just like his beat. And
Yes.
it's a lot of his songs. Technically, if you want to do an analysis, a lot of it's negative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, really depressing. But he has some really good ones. Especially on the Innocent Man album, he has some really decent ones. This night. I mean, it's one of my favorites. It's a beat. Have you heard it? This night, he sings it, and actually, he gives Beethoven some credit because part of it, the chorus is Beethoven.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just always liked his style and always connected. I'm Jewish, he's Jewish. He's
Oh
from a
wow.
divorcee.
I love
He's from a
Jews.
divorcee. Yeah.
I
Hey,
love Jews. I do.
what's not to like? I'm only teasing. He's just a very down. He's just personality wise. I mean, he grew up in blue collar, and he still acts blue collar. He's not
Yes.
elite. He's not an elitist,
Right.
and he'll tell you like it is. And he's just that's how he always was. I mean, yeah, he had some issues, and he always had. Of course, the guy had dealt with some substance and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I don't think he does anymore. He didn't do so well in the female category. I was pretty pissed about
Yeah.
Christy
Yeah.
Brinkley and him breaking up. But I think
Right.
he learned after his fourth wife, and
Yeah.
the guy can still, guy still can have kids, and he can still rock and roll. I
Yes.
hope that when I'm 70, that's not going to happen to me. But I always clicked to him just musically. Elton John,
Yes.
same type of style. My first real concert was Billy Joel, Elton John in '94.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, so I always liked his music. It's just very soulful. His music is very soulful, and just basically, again, Elton's just the way he plays. He's more classically trained, but
Yeah.
he's very soulful.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll tell you mine too.
yeah,
They're mine too as well.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's because you can't get two guys that take the piano further than they have
exactly,
in this genre of music. I love,
exactly.
Elton's great, but Elton has Elton in every piece of music he does, and you could
Hmm.
go from one song to the next seamlessly, a lot of them.
Yeah,
Billy Joel has this way of becoming this genre, becoming this guy, becoming this
exactly.
guy. And people will say, "Oh, he's just a mimic." No, don't say that. I
No,
feel like he's able to become the '50s. He can become classical. He can become a
exactly,
Russian and sing about Leningrad. He can become
exactly.
all these different things, and he covers classical. He covers the '50s music. He covers jazzy things. It's all in there, and I recommend his music to anybody because he covers so many different genres, so many
Exactly.
different styles, so many different ways of playing the piano. Elton John typically just has a
Yeah,
for
exactly.
everything, but it's great. I love it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Billy has so many different ways he does things, and no one would ever do this, but I would put him on the level of some of the great classical composers that we talk
absolutely.
about for what he does. He
Exactly.
looks up to them and say, "Oh, I never became Beethoven." Well, Beethoven never became him to me. So there's things that he does that only he can do that I've ever. So that's my. I had to talk about him a little bit.
No,
Uh,
absolutely.
so do you ever use, my lessons get on the website for maybe like therapy or not therapy, but just like to get away to just kind of leave the grind and just enjoy
When I was
yourself.
when I just say when I was married, yes.
Okay. No, that's funny. All right. Well, another
Sorry.
lane we could go down
Yeah,
there.
what? No, you know what? Yeah. No, I mean, like I would play. There were times where I would play mostly because I wanted to learn, and it was
Uh-huh.
very therapeutic. I helped me unwind and everything. It just helped me to just enjoy. Just kind of enjoy. It was like me time. It was my time.
Good.
So I did have that, and it did help me throughout the years. It really does. And like I said, I've been going on, kind of on and off, getting involved in it. But I do, as you know, I'm pretty consistent as a member, but I really kind of really enjoy it. I do want to get back, it's just
Yeah.
have to find the right time, the right place, the inspiration and stuff like that. So
So how do you do
just
on? I did a hard request for you all about soul. Have you
yeah.
cracked that one open yet? How's that going for you, or have you not really
Um,
looked at
I
it?
could I could send you the recording. I already did
I
it.
would love it.
Yeah, yeah. I have it
Well,
with the playing. I'm playing with the band.
so
I'm
let
playing
me
with.
ask you this. Oh
Mhm.
yeah, excellent.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this. Why do you pay for a hard request when you can find any lesson for free pretty much on the internet that you want, yet people still, will pay me, and it's not cheap.
yeah.
But
Right,
people,
right.
why do you fork out the money to pay me for a request when there's so much free on the internet?
Because if I can learn anything, it's from you. Because all the music I've learned, I'll be honest with you, is from you. The way your style, I was able to adapt quickly. Not everybody can just bake. I mean, what I could do, I could have listened to it. I could have looked it up quickly, look at the chords, look it up, and then kind of click it there. But I'd be lost at a certain point. But
Yeah.
the way your direction, the way your style. I mean, I wouldn't listen to the whole video. I basically say, okay, and I got it, and then I would
Okay.
stop, and then I would basically break it up in segments. I would listen to the actual recording, and I play along with recording, making sure my timing is right, make
Yeah.
sure and hey,
Excellent.
you're the best bass line I've got.
Thank you. Well,
You
that,
know,
that kind of leads me to another thing here. I'm hearing this a lot from people. I've always, from the very beginning, I made the choice not to just do watered down elevator music, melody in the right hand type thing. I
mm,
want to play what Billy's playing. I want to play what
right,
Elton's playing. I don't
right,
want a watered down version. I don't want somebody's idea of I want to play what they're doing. And so from the very beginning, I've always been very painstakingly meticulous about
mm,
giving everyone exactly the best that I can do what they're playing in a particular performance. If
right,
it's an Elton John live version, I'm going to give you every little sparkle in the right hand that I can
yeah.
for what they're doing. Do you notice that? Do you care? Do you appreciate that? How do you feel about it?
I mean, it helps. There's no question about it. It's a different perspective. It's a style.
Yeah.
It's a uniqueness. Do I take it all the time? Maybe not. Not so. Maybe because it's just out of
Well,
my
what I'm
complexity.
asking
Yeah.
is, do you like the arrangements that I'm doing that they're like the
Oh.
album instead of writing melody in the right hand or just the
Oh
chords or
yeah.
something?
Oh no. I no. I apologize. I like this. I like the arrangements.
Mhm.
I do actually like that because I'm able to, when I'm finished, I'm able to play as if it was the actual recording. Yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
that's what you
and,
want, right? I mean, that's
yeah,
probably
yeah,
why a big reason
yeah.
is you can
Oh,
find the
absolutely.
chords for these songs, on the line. So
Right.
that's I
I,
think the
or I could,
difference.
I could pluck out the melody if I really want to sit there
Yeah,
and just,
sure.
I could have done that. But I like the arrangement. And like I said, the hardest part, I think, is for everybody playing piano, especially if they can't. It's the left hand's usually very
Yeah,
hard. It's like,
yeah.
it's like, no, I need to move my left hand more. Uh, but but I'm able to move my left hand more. I'm like, wow, I can actually do it. I mean, one of my very first songs I learned from me was "Honesty," and I was like, oh, I was like looking forward to using that left hand. Uh,
Yes,
and and then ragtime was just like, oh my gosh, I can't. I mean, just the way I was playing the ragtime. I got to
that
get
one's
now.
hard.
I got to get it back into it. I mean, that was one of the very first. I was like, I could do this, and it took me a while to get just the beginning basic.
Sure.
And then again, I think I stopped at the fifth lesson. I just stopped, but I love that's one of my favorite. I mean, talk about
Awesome.
a
That's hard.
genre. Oh, it's extremely
Awesome.
hard.
Well, I want to get to these questions before I run out of time
Sure,
because I have the
sure.
only the free Zoom account and they're going to cut me off.
Okay.